I'm Michael Gianarakis. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Assetnote. Assetnote is an attack surface management platform company. We started in 2018 up here in Brisbane, and we sell that to our customers. Attack surface management is kind of a new and emerging sort of area, but it really solves a lot of fundamental security problems that organizations have. The key one being visibility into what they're trying to protect. Attack surface management, at least in how we see it, is really around two elements. One is the visibility into what you're trying to protect, and the visibility into the exposure of what's in that attack surface. So for the first part, it really comes down to asset discovery. A lot of companies don't really know what they have out there exposed on the internet, and really don't really know what they're even trying to protect. Cloud-first architecture and a lot of trends in the past sort of 10 years in IT have really driven this ephemerality in these and fluidity in the attack surfaces. And so getting a handle on that is a pretty fundamental part of security, but something that's somewhat challenging for a lot of companies. And so the other side of it then is once you've kind of clocked that, once you've got a view of what your attack surface is, one, staying up to date with it, so it's evolving over time, and then two, trying to figure out, okay, where are the exposures in that attack surface? What are the things that I need to fix? And looking at that in a more continuous, manner, as opposed to what has traditionally been more point in time. So that's kind of sums it up a little bit. So our main product is our continuous security platform, and what that will do is automatically discover and map out the assets in a company's external attack surface, and then monitor them on a continuous hourly basis for not only new assets and updates and changes to the existing assets, but also high signal security exposures, vulnerabilities, and other security problems. Myself and my co-founder have a long history in the industry, and so we were kind of very aware of these sorts of problems, but it really wasn't until we started getting into bug bounties very seriously that we started to solidify a lot of the concepts that would go into Assetnote. And so we were using, I guess, what was the prototype, I guess, of what Assetnote would become to be very successful with bug bounties. And we saw then that our approach was really surfacing problems that a lot of companies were having, and we'd get these big companies, large companies from around the world hit us up and say, hey, how do you keep finding all these issues? How do you keep rinsing our bounty pretty much? And we'd explain the approach and the technology, and a whole bunch of them came and said, hey, if you were selling this, it's probably something we would buy. And that kind of got the wheel spinning, and we decided to get together and commercialize it and build a business around it. Queensland is a great place to start a company. I'm from Queensland. There's a lot of talent here. I also run a meetup locally here with a few others, a cybersecurity meetup, and there's a real thirst for knowledge in this area and a real passion for security that often gets untapped. One of the key drivers for myself and my co-founder when we started Assetnote was we knew a lot of people in the industry, a lot of really talented people from Australia, not just Queensland, but Australia as a whole, that were going overseas to work. A lot of them worked with large tech companies overseas, and the driver was they wanted to work on tough, interesting problems, but they were all leaving Australia, and we felt that one of the reasons for starting our company was to be a place for these sorts of people, these talented individuals, an option for them to stay in Australia and still work on interesting and challenging problems. And so one of the benefits of Queensland is there are a lot of people that are really keen. There's a lot of good talent. It's a very livable state. Brisbane's a very livable city, and so that sort of mix of things creates a good I guess breeding ground for particularly security innovation. So we have a very diverse, broad range of customers, which is great. We've got surprisingly a lot of large tech companies. Atlassian here, another Australian company, and we also even security companies as well. Checkpoint is another large company. But broadly speaking, we've got some of the largest media companies in the world, some of the largest banks in the world. We've got an airline as a customer, automotive manufacturer, pharmaceutical companies in Europe, a property developer in Hong Kong. It's very validating in a way to see that what we've built is so broadly applicable and is providing value to a lot of different companies. It's just validation of the idea of this is something that a lot of organizations are struggling with, and they're seeing value in our product, which is great. So AusCyber has been a big advocate for us. Michelle I've known, and my co-founder is known for a long time. She's so excitable and so passionate about this. It's hard to not get infected with that when she speaks, and she's been a strong advocate not only for us but for cybersecurity in general and broadly with AusCyber. So through the missions to the US, I think that's in partnership with Austrade. We've had a lot of exposure there, just generally through connections as well. AusCyber has put us in touch with a lot of different people that has benefited our business, and being that sort of intermediary has been hugely beneficial, and just generally have been they've been a strong advocate for us, which has been hugely helpful for us. What's next for Assetnote? So we're continuing to grow. We're expanding the team both here in Australia as well as overseas in the US. We're doing a whole bunch of crazy, interesting, innovative security research that's going into our platform, and then just continuing to expand our product to cover more elements of the modern attack surface. So a lot of exciting times ahead. We're growing rapidly. It's definitely always an up and down, but it's been a lot of fun, and we're doing pretty well. So really excited about the future for us, and continue to expand the team and continue to grow the business.